Good night and welcome to Benalmádena first English news broadcast. Digital Costa del Sol brings you every Friday all the information about this week news. The tourism sector is experiencing the arrival of new segments that mark the future of the industry, with travelers looking for specific aspects in each destination. And Benalmádena, presented on Wednesday, is attracting a feature.
The Madrid International Tourism Trade Fair, FITUR 2023, returned this year in style with figures that position it to unseat the Berlin ITB as the world's #1 tourism event. As always, this first inaugural day brought a large influx of people and queues to enter the fairgrounds, although nothing compared to what was experienced last year. The mayor and tourism councilman, Víctor Navas, present the promotional campaign of Benalmádena at the stand of Turismo Costa del Sol.
Mejor que contarlo es verlo. Y precisamente este año...
This year we have opted for a different campaign to transcend the traditional and successful binomial of sun and beach, a resource that serves to fill us during the summer period, with the purpose of breaking the seasonality. Benalmádena almost reached 4 million overnight stays during the last year. With the slogan "Come to Benalmádena," the new promotional video and campaign emphasize the identity, uniqueness and genuineness of the experience of living in Benalmádena. Gastronomy, nature, culture and sports are the main claims that the campaign highlights as tourist resource to attract visitors all year round and thus break the seasonality. With this campaign, we present a different Benalmádena, strong of the traditional tourist circuit and visitable all year round with a light and an habitable climate. The presentation also announced the new edition of the Calamorro Sky Race, which this year will be the inaugural event of the Skyrunning World Cup, as announced by the technical director of the race, Gonzalo Cea. An event will turn Benalmádena into the epicenter of sport and nature. The presentation also announced a new resource called to strengthen the cultural offer of the municipality, the reopening of the Fortuna Room in the Torrequebrada Hotel, to reposition Benalmádena as a benchmark for culture and entertainment on the Costa del Sol. Finally, part of the program for the third edition of the Benalmádena Musical Theatre Festival has been announced, which will include a new production of Peter Pan.
Benalmádena has a lack of housing solution, a problem that the City Council wants to fight through the residential rental aids. After the deadline to apply for them, the economic endowment has not been exhausted, so it has been extended.
The mayor of Benalmádena, Víctor Navas, and General Administration Councilman, Sergio Torralbo, held a press conference to announce the extension of the deadline to apply for the residential rental aid, as the economic endowment has not been finished.
Estamos viviendo en Benalmádena con el acceso a la vivienda, ¿no?
Benalmádena has a problem of access to housing. The tourist pressure is limiting the homes dedicated to long-term residential rental. If in 2016 there were 2,000 bed units in housing for tourist purpose, in 2023 we have almost 27,000 units, an increase that comes from homes that were previously dedicated to residential rental. That is why we have launched various initiatives to mitigate this situation, facilitating access to rental housing at a reasonable price, so that home ownership is not the only alternative. Light that in the previous call there were 27 applications, while on this occasion there are 43, and stressed that the deadline will be open until the allocation is exhausted. The previous call had 27 applications, and in this one we have 43, demonstrating that we are achieving a greater interest, also motivated by the increase in its economic amount. But these figures are still insufficient in order to ensure the increase in residential rental housing, causing a decrease in the monthly price. In direct conversations with the real estate sector, we were concerned that the deadline was insufficient, and that is why today we announced the extension of the initial 3-week period, which we are increasing indefinitely until the available credit is exhausted. Torralbo reviewed the requirements to access the aid and explained that the grant will be received in a single payment. We have received a total of 43 applications, what means that the budget of 700,000 euros for this call has not yet been finished. We will extend the application deadline until the end of the 700,000 euros budget for this grant. Our requirements for the homeowner to qualify for this aid is that it is intended for residential rental for a period between 1 and 5 years. The monthly rental income must not exceed 700 euros in one-bedroom homes, 800 euros in two-bedroom homes, and 900 euros in those with 3 or more bedrooms. The subsidy will be received by the beneficiaries in a single payment, which may amount up to 6,000 euros in the case of housing with 3 or more bedrooms, 5,000 euros in two-bedroom homes, and 4,000 euros in one-bedroom homes.
The Town Hall hosted last week the first meeting of the Disability Commission, created to meet the demands of people with functional diversity, in which several groups of the municipality have participated.
The mayor of Benalmádena, Víctor Navas, participated last week in the first meeting of the Disability Commission, a table created to meet the demands of people with functional diversity, which also had the participation of other councillors as Alicia Ladaga, Pablo Centella or Joaquín Villazón.
Hoy estamos aquí reunidos con los técnicos.
As we recently commit to a group of mothers of children with functional diversity, today we have launched this commission on disability and functional diversity with the aim of meeting regularly with them and representatives of ABAD to learn firsthand their needs and demands. We have met with them and with technicians from social welfare, sports and occupational center to inform them directly of the initiatives we already have underway in terms of inclusion and to improve some areas that we have yet to define to ensure equal opportunities regardless of the capabilities of each. Navas explained that this is the first meeting which will serve to start working together to solve any problems.
Hoy en la primera toma de contacto constituimos esta.
With this commission, we aspire to reach agreements that serve to improve the quality of life of people with functional diversity in Benalmádena. Today has been a first contact to constitute this commission, and we have talked about how to be more inclusive in the field of sport, cultural and social, as many parents find it very difficult to register their children with functional diversity in any activity in these areas, and therefore we will work to make it easier for them from now on. They were also able to talk to Sandy De Paz and Elizabeth Guerrero, two of the mothers behind A Por Todas, who told us a little about the group and the reality they face on a daily basis. De Paz reviews some of their demands and highlight the importance of this commission.
Somos un grupo de 6 madres que hemos estado recogiendo firmas.
We have collected more than 5,000 signatures in Benalmádena, in addition to having the support of 13 AMPAs. We work together with ABAD to claim rights and equality for our children who have disabilities and special educational needs. We want to end the discrimination so that they can access the camps on equal terms. Normally they accept us, but they require us mothers to pay an extra teacher that we cannot afford. We also request more financial aid because many parents are already paying shadow teachers in schools. We also ask access for our children to attend the cultural activities of the municipality, since equality is not only that they can go to the same places, but that the environment and materials are adapted so that there is universal accessibility.
City Council carried out improvement and beautification works in the Bellavista Lakes at Avenida Mare Nostrum, an intervention whose goal is to improve the environment, making it more attractive after the cleaning works in the lake.
The mayor of Benalmádena, Víctor Navas, and Parks and Gardens Councilman Joaquín Villazón and the Operational Services Councilman Salvador Rodríguez visit Avenida Mare Nostrum this week to see the improvement and beautification works carried out at the Bellavista Lakes. Navas valued the intervention, highlighting the collaboration of the employment plans.
Hemos venido a comprobar cómo han quedado los trabajos.
We have come to check how the works of cleaning up the lakes of Bellavista in Mare Nostrum Avenue has turned out. The result is fantastic and achieves that we return to put in value a space that became dangerous for workers and pets because of the depth of the lake. Previously, we asked for the regrowth of the lakes, but shortly after we suffered the Calima, which left the bottom full of mud and dirt. We have cleaned the lake, also decorating the entire environment. I want to thank the work of public services, as it is an action carried out with own means, with the participation of operational services and operators of the Empleo Joven Plan. The South Lake has already been completed, and soon we will undertake the improvement of the North Lake. For his part, Villazón spoke about the improvements made in the area over the last few years, also explaining that since there are animals in the lake, the water cleaning is complicated. This space, so attractive for neighbors and visitors, now gains a promenade for walking and also reinforces the security of the lake. The old fence has been replaced by a much more attractive one, thanks to the collaboration between the departments of Park and Gardens and Operational Services. Both in the lake and in the stream, we can enjoy animals in freedom, but citizens must understand that the fact of having animals means that the water will never be transparent, since we cannot use chlorine. Between the two possibilities that were raised, we prefer to keep the animals as they are part of the attraction of this area. We know that citizens like to walk and see the ducks, so we have decided to keep them and reinforce the cleaning of the lakes. Rodríguez, last to speak, was very satisfied with the work done by this area and spoke about the development of the works, highlighting the collaboration between delegations. The collaboration of workers of the Empleo Joven Plan, we have cleaned both the bottom and the surroundings of the lakes, have decorated the shore and have reinforced security with the installation of about 170 meters of railing. With this action, we intend that neighbors and visitors enjoy this enclave with maximum security. We want Benalmádena to continue being the city in which everyone wants to live, prioritizing the quality of life and welfare of citizens.
After the new cases of COVID, Junta de Andalucía has launched new measures to fight the spread of the disease, reinforcing prevention and surveillance in nursing homes and recommending vaccination and the use of face masks.
The president of Junta de Andalucía, Juanma Moreno, said this Tuesday, January 17, that new measures could be introduced to combat the spread of COVID-19 in retirement homes in Andalucía. This was announced after a meeting of the Regional Committee of High Impact on Public Health. Moreno announced that it has been decided to reinforce prevention and surveillance in homes for the elderly, recommending vaccination. Nursing homes will now have to reintroduce the registration of comings and goings so that they can have control to follow up of those people who, after having been in the centers, have tested positive for COVID. The person in charge of publicizing these measures, the Junta's Minister of Health, Catalina García, stressed the importance of maintaining the use of face masks inside residents for workers and visitors, in addition to their use on public transport. García also made reference to the use of face masks in public places. Although no mandatory measures have been put in place, the politician recommends its use in closed places where the social distancing cannot be maintained, especially for people with higher risk. Likewise, she announced that the entire health alert strategy will be extended for 1 month and request a meeting with the Central Executive to discuss the new COVID figures. Andalucía has registered the first case of the Kraken variant of the COVID-19 coronavirus, according to García, who has not provided further details about the affected patient or their location. As a result of this first case, the head of the Regional Health Ministry asked the Spanish Ministry of Health the sequencing of all passengers from China at airports, instead of limiting itself to random tests. The Committee of COVID Experts celebrates its first meeting in 7 months to analyze the evolution of the pandemic. The Minister of Health has recognized that the reach of the fourth dose of the COVID vaccine among the population over 60 years of age is far from that achieved in the first phase of the pandemic, and has said that the number of centers where the fourth dose is administered will be expanded next week, including points where no prior appointment will be necessary.
And these are today's headlines. Benalmádena presents its charms at Fitur. The deadline for residential rental aid is extended. First meeting of the Disability Commission. Improvement works in the lakes of Bellavista. Junta launches new measures to fight COVID. The weather forecast for the weekend will leave us with low cloudy or clear skies on the coast, maximum temperatures rising to 19 degrees and minimums of 10, winds from the north becoming westerly in the afternoon on the west coast. And that's all. Thank you for watching us, and remember, you can stay updated on our website or social media profile on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good night and enjoy the weekend.